Good morning, good morning, good morning. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. It's the weekend, y'all. So you know what we do on weekends. We hit them charts. All right. The show will start momentarily, but let me get into this mantra. And you can say it with me if you know it, or you can just listen or write it down so you can say it to yourself. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be rich. I deserve to be wealthy. I deserve to be free. The more you learn, the more you earn. Thereby, the more you earn, the more you learn. I am a certified Wall Street trapper. I am confident in my abilities to make great investments. The stock market is a machine, and I am more than capable of operating this machine. Let's get it cracking, y'all. What's good, everybody? Welcome to Trillion Dollar Tickers. This is the weekend charting edition. In this episode, we are slowing things down and focusing purely on levels, support and resistance, trend direction, chart patterns to prepare you for next week's price movement. If you can't see the chart, I will be calling out the levels. Quick disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment only. Always do your own research. But you can definitely use this research as a foundation. Let's get into it. On this show, we track the trillion dollar tickers. So before we get started, let's check the market cap of our companies. Nvidia, 4.4 trillion. Apple, 4 trillion. Google, 3.7 trillion. Microsoft, 3.6 trillion. Amazon, 2.4 trillion. Meta, 1.66 trillion. AVGO, 1.6 trillion. Tesla, 1.6 trillion. TSM, 1.49 trillion. And Berkshire B, $1 trillion, y'all. $1 trillion. All right, so the first company is Nvidia. So first, I have all these lines on the chart. You're like, what is all these lines? So basically, all these lines are, the top line is an all-time high price. Then I have different lines according to what time frame. So this PVMH, previous monthly high. So this line gives me the highest price it went last month. So November. This was the highest price that it went. And the opposite of that is PVML, previous month low. So this line gives me the last month's lowest price. And then I also have it for the weekly, and I have it for the daily, y'all. So we don't have to change the month one until the next month. So we can go to the weekly. So let's go to the weekly chart, and then let's spread out our chart so we can really see it. So we have, this was our latest weekly candle. So I'll pull my previous week high level here. It's actually right at this daily level. Well, actually, let me zoom in. It's a little bit under. So let me zoom in and get it correct. There we are. So the previous week high is going to be 181.45. And the previous week low is going to be 170.32. And then we can go to the daily. So the daily previous day high is going to be exactly with the previous week high. That means Friday had the highest price for the week. So we're going to delete this previous day high and we'll bring it back on Tuesday. Okay, so our previous day low is going to be the bottom of this candle. It looks like we had a very bullish candle for Nvidia on Friday. So our previous day low level is 176.36, and our previous day high, which was the same as our previous week high, is 181.45. Okay, so Nvidia was actually up almost 4% on Friday, which is a wonderful day for your shares. It was up $6.85. Okay, so after I adjust those, I also like to take off my lines and then check out the algo and see what the algo has to say. If the algo can give us any idea on where price may go. So Nvidia did get a sell on the algo on November 20th. It actually didn't hit TP1. This was a very large candle. So if you ever get a candle this big, it's definitely going to cause a sell signal. So it actually didn't hit TP1. Sometimes when the candles are this big, the algo is not prepared. So let's go to the 4 hour and see. Okay, so the 4 hour actually had a sell here on Wednesday, December 10th. It came down and I'm sure it hit one of the take profits, but it has since switched. So on the 4 hour for Nvidia, it actually gave us a strong buy yesterday at 5 a.m. and the entry point was 179.74, and the first take profit is going to be 183.91. Second take profit 188.08, and the third take profit is 192.45. So in a larger time frame, it is in a sell, and that's the daily. And the 4 hour time frame, it is in a buy. All right, the algo is brought to you by Level Up Algo. All right, let's turn that off. Let's go to Apple. Let's go to the weekly chart. All right, let's turn back on our levels here. All right, so Apple on the weekly, it was very close to the previous week high. But let's just make it exact. Apple previous week high is going to be $280.17. Previous week low, let's see. There's actually a level here on the previous day low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the daily chart. I'm going to move this previous day low to Friday's low. And that'll give us the room to put the previous week low on this candle. All right, previous week low is going to be $266.99. And then we can go back to the daily chart and we can put our previous day high on the top of Friday's candle, which is $274.57. All right. So those are our levels, our most recent levels. So now we can take off my levels and we can check out the algo on the daily. The algo, just like Nvidia, it did have that big red candle. So it is in a sell on the daily. That red candle came in on the 15th. The entry was 274.11. It did hit TP1. So if you follow the algo, you definitely hit TP1 on Thursday. All right, so now let's check out the 4 hour. And the 4 hour time frame. So we did get a sell here on the 4th. We did get a close on the sell on the 15th, on the 4 hour. And had you got into this strong sell from the 4th, you would have hit all 3 take profit levels. So that is a good call by the algo. Let's see if there's any upside on the 1 hour chart for Apple. So we do have a buy here on the 1 hour chart on Apple on the last hour of Friday's session. We got a strong buy. So we got the entry level here at 273.62 with the first take profit being 277. So the smaller time frame is in a buy while the larger time frames are in a sell. All right, let's check out Google. Let's go to the weekly. Let's put our levels back on. Google, previous week high. Previous week high is at 311.66, and the previous week low is at 296.10. All right, let's check out the daily. Previous day high, 307.29, and a previous day low of $300.99. All right, let's check out the algo. Google on the weekly, it did have that huge red candle on Wednesday the 17th, which gave an entry of 296. It has since reversed. Like I said before, when there's a huge candle, it definitely will spark a new entry on the algo, whether that's to the downside or to the upside. So let's check out the 4 hour. I'm pretty sure on the 4 hour it has switched. Yep. So on the 4 hour, we would have had a sell here on the 8th, but the most current notification is a buy signal here on Friday. So the entry for your strong buy on Google is 307.17 with the first take profit at 310.65, second take profit at 314.12, and the third take profit at 317.60. Let's check out the 1 hour just to make sure we're still in a buy on a shorter time frame. Yes, we're actually in a buy from Thursday on the 1 hour. All right, thank you for that, algo. Microsoft. Let's check out Microsoft on the weekly. Let's move our weekly lines here. Okay. Microsoft on the weekly. Previous week high, 489.64. Previous week low, 470.88. And let's go to the daily. Previous day high, 487.97. And a previous day low of, damn, I keep grabbing. Let me stretch this chart out. I keep on grabbing the wrong line. All right, previous day low of 482.50. All right, let's check out the algo. All right, so Microsoft has been in the sell since October 30th. Had you gotten into that, you would have hit all 3 take profits. It looks like this is the second entry since the sell was up here. It definitely hit all 3 take profits. And then the good thing about this algo is after it hits all 3 take profits, if it continues to trend in that direction, it will give you another entry. So this is actually the second entry to the downside, and it has also hidden all three take profits. So great call on the algo. Let's check out the 4 hour. The 4 hour has us in a buy from Thursday. So the entry price would be $487.19 with the first take profit of $496. You currently be down just a couple of dollars, almost $2, but you still be in a good position as long as your expiration date is not too short, and that's for options anyway. All right, let's check out the 1 hour just to make sure. The 1 hour, we did get a sell here in the aftermarket on Thursday, but the sell did get a close notification here in the aftermarket on Friday. So we'll go with the bigger time frame, which is the 4 hour. So Microsoft is looking bullish for next week. Because look at this daily candle. This is a hammer. This is Friday's candle is definitely a hammer, which is very bullish. I think it just needs to get over this 493 level. I probably have a level there. Let's bring my levels back. Yeah, I do have a weekly level here at 495.50. So I will not get into Microsoft until it actually breaks this 495.50 to the upside with a weekly closure above it. Right now we're just consolidating. All right, next one is Amazon. Amazon on the weekly. See what we got here. Okay, let's go to the daily chart. Let me move that first because a lot of the candles, since Friday was such a great day, a lot of the candles, the best day was Friday. So a lot of the levels are lining up with the week high and the day high the same. So let's do the daily first. We got the previous day high on Amazon at 229.12. Previous day low 225.58. Then let's go to the weekly. Previous week high. See how close that is. 229.25. And our previous week low of 221 even. All right, let's check out the algo. Algo on the daily. What do we have? We have a strong sell. That same Monday candle looks like it was very bearish for all the big $1 trillion tickers. All right, so it did get a sell on Monday. The entry was 222. The stop loss is actually 227.93. So had you gotten into the sell, you would be down almost $5. But it did not close above the stop loss. So technically, if you were exclusively following the algo, you would still be in a trade. You would just be down $4.81 from the entry. All right, let's check out the 4 hour to see a smaller time frame. All right, so on the 4 hour, we do have a strong buy here that came on Thursday at 5 a.m. The entry price was $227.54, with the first take profit being $232, y'all. So I'm definitely gonna need Amazon to break this 232.38 level before I think it's really bullish again. Because last time it got to this level, it sold off. All right, let's check out Meta. Meta on the weekly. Meta is down a lot from last week's. Last week's previous week high was way up there. This week's previous week high is at 671.11. And the previous week low is at, it's basically the same as the previous week before this one at 638.69. All right, let's go to the daily. Okay, so Friday was the best day for Meta of last week. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this previous day high because it is the same level. Then I'm going to move the previous day low to 658.19, y'all. 658.19. Meta still does have this huge gap from when it gapped down on earnings. It's definitely going to have to break through that gap. Last time it came in there, it did reject very hard. But it looks like it's headed back up that way. I don't see it being bullish until it breaks this 15% off, which is actually 677. I need it to break that to the upside. I need a breaking close above. I need it to get back into the gap and continue to head up to the upside, because if not, it's just going to continue to consolidate between these two levels here, 638.90 and the gap. If it does come back down, I do expect it to bounce at this previous week low, because remember, that was 2 weeks in a row that the previous week low was 639. All right, let's check out the algo. Algo on Meta did get a strong buy here on Tuesday the 25th of November. The entry was 636. It did hit all three take profits. It has since pulled back and gave you a close signal here on Tuesday the 16th. All right, let's check out the 4 hour for a smaller time frame. Let's see what the most recent call out was on the 4 hour. It was a buy. All right. So it's currently like almost in the middle of your entry and your stop loss. So I will not get into a meta trade right now. I definitely needed to break. Like you see this 677 here, I definitely needed to break there. And because this wick here at 687.52, that's going to be a very important level as well. All right, our next ticker is AVGO. Let's check out the weekly. AVGO on the weekly, last week it was at an all-time high, so that means I deleted the previous week high level. So let's put that back on here. Previous week high. Let's stretch out this candle a little bit. See, before I stretch it out, I didn't even see that wick at the top. See, that's why you got to stretch out the candles, y'all. So it did touch inside this gap, but it bounced very hard. All right, let's check out the previous week low. Previous week low on AVGO is 321.42. All right, next let's check out the daily. Previous day high, 343.48, and a previous day low of 332.63. All right, it does have a gap way up here, very far away from price, so we're not going to worry about that gap right now. But that was a tremendous fall from all-time high. tremendous. It did beat on the top and bottom on earnings, but it fell dramatically. That's what actually created the gap, was earnings. And it actually has a gap underneath as well. So don't be surprised if it has to come down to fill this gap to get more buyers before it goes back up. All right, AVGO, let's check out the algo. AVGO on a daily, Friday, December 12th, got a sell notification. It did end up hitting TP1. It did not hit TP2. All right, let's check out the 4 hour. See the most recent. Nope, it's still in the sell right now on the 4 hour. So AVGO, I do not like it to the upside. All right, let's check out Tesla. Tesla on the weekly. Tesla hit an all-time high this week, y'all. Tesla hit an all-time high this week, y'all. Tesla hit an all-time high this week, y'all. Sound like money. All right, let's check out Tesla. Okay, since the all-time high was the highest price, we can delete the previous week high because we won't need that this week. And then the previous week low. Look at this. We're moving the previous week low from 435 all the way to 465. Wonderful week for Tesla investors. All right. And now on the daily, we have the previous day high, Friday's high. Highest price it went was 490.55. And the lowest price it went was 474.77. Now we do have a gap under here. It did almost go halfway into the gap. Once it had gapped up that day. It gapped up from Friday the 12th over the weekend to Monday the 15th. And it has since touched the gap twice, but it has not filled. So Tesla still looks bullish. Let's check out the algo, y'all. All right, so the algo had a buy on Tesla on Wednesday, December 3rd. A strong buy. The entry was 446. It did give you a little pressure here, $9 in pressure. It did come down to 435, but it did end up hitting all three take profits. So had you listened to the algo on Wednesday, December 3rd, you would have got in at 446 and you would have caught almost a $50 move to hit TP3 at 493, y'all. 493. Wonderful profits with a $50 move. Everything is green on Tesla. The trend is green. The momentum is green. Everything is green, y'all. Let's check out the 4 hour. The 4 hour on Tesla. It did get a buy here on Thursday the 18th at 5 a.m. But it did get a close here. So, yeah, it's been consolidating for a couple of days. Alright. So Tesla just needs to find some more buyers before breaking to an all-time high. It's definitely just hit the all-time high. So shout out to the Tesla shareholders. All right, let's check out TSM, y'all. TSM hit an all-time high a couple weeks ago. So I did not have the previous week high level on here. So let me go ahead and put that on here. Previous week high, 295.81. And the previous week low, 275.13. All right, let's check out the daily. The daily previous day high is actually right where my weekly level is, which is 292.20. So we'll put the previous day. Where's my previous day candle? I mean, not candle, but level. Looks like I have to add one. Previous day low. It's gonna be 286.40, y'all. 286.40. Yeah, there's definitely gonna be some pressure at this 292 level that TSM is gonna have to break over before heading back to the upside. Looks like it broke my trend line here. Well, retested and went up, but this was a huge break of the trend line. So we can definitely move this trend line. I don't think it's valid anymore. It's been broken. This trend line has been broken, y'all. So that can we move it here? Let's see. So now it's only 2 touches. All right. Now let's check out the algo, y'all. Check out the algo on the daily. So it did get a sell on Monday with the entry of 287. It did hit TP1 at 279. Now it's back around the entry point. Let's check out the 4-hour. It did get a buy here on Friday at 5 a.m. Entry 291. So it's very close to the entry right now on the 4-hour. All right, Berkshire B. Let's check out the weekly. Previous week high 508.08. Previous week low 494.53. All right, let's check out the daily. Previous day high 503.85. And the previous day low was the lowest day of the week. So we'll go ahead and delete this previous day low line and we'll bring it back on Tuesday. All right. By the way, that music in the background is created by Matt Rich's 510 AI Music. Created with Suno, the best AI music generating program on the market. All right, let's check out the algo on the daily. It did get a strong sell here on Monday the 8th. It did hit TP1 before it came back up. So if you exit at TP1, you'd be good. If not, you would have been stopped out. All right. So let's check out the 4-hour for the latest. We do have a strong sell here on Friday, which is yesterday at 9 a.m. with the entry being 495.64 and the first take profit being 489 and your stop loss being 502, y'all. 502. All right, the VIX. The VIX has had a down week. The VIX is now under $15. The VIX is at 1491, y'all. 1491. All right, we got a few more to go. Now we'll go to the ETFs. We have SPY. Let's check out SPY on the weekly. Previous week high 685.80 and a previous week low of 671. Let's check out the daily. Previous day high of 681.08 and a previous day low of 676. Let me stretch out the chart so I can get that wick on there. 676.47, y'all. All right. Let's check out the algo. On the daily, SPY did have that huge down candle on Wednesday. So we did have an entry. But, you know, like I said before in this episode, when there's a huge candle like that, the algo gives the signal, but it doesn't always get it right sometimes. Just like this huge candle. And this huge candle. See, sometimes when there's so much volatility in the price that it throws off the algo. But most of the time it works, sometimes it doesn't. Alright, so you would have been stopped out here. Let's check out the 4 hours, see the latest. Alright, so on the 4 hour, we did get a buy here at 9 a.m. with an entry of 680.59. And it's very close to TP1, y'all. Very close to TP1. Alright, let's check out the QQQ. QQQ is, let's check out the weekly. You have a previous week high. Wrong one. Previous week high of 618.47 and a previous week low of 627, y'all. All right, let's check out the daily. You have a previous day high of 617.60 and a previous day low of 611.89. QQQ does have a gap here from early November. It did halfway fill the gap, so I'm expecting next time it gets up here, it will completely fill the gap and head back toward all-time highs, y'all. All right, let's check out the algo on the daily. Algo, that same candle that we had on SPY on Wednesday, was you would have got stopped out on this one. That's called a fake out, y'all. So even the algos can get faked out. Humans get faked out. Algos can get faked out too. All right, but the algo did give us a buy here on Thursday pre-market with the entry of 612.31. With the first take profit being 619.80. It's very close. It's $1 away from TP1 on the 4 hour on the algo. All right, so it looks like we got a couple more, y'all. We got SPX and the NAS 100. Then I got another idea that I just thought was so cool that I found on Yahoo Finance, but we'll get to that momentarily. All right, so we have previous week high. Looks like it's right at my weekly level here. It's pennies underneath it, which is fine. Okay, so we have a previous week high on SPX of 6,840. Oh, excuse me. No, that is incorrect, y'all. That is incorrect. I'm still on the 4 hour. So let me go to the weekly. All right, let me go to the weekly. Let me grab that. Let me grab that line here. All right, let me go The top of our weekly candle on SPX is 6,868. And the low of our weekly candle here, let me grab it. So close to the other line there. All right, previous week low, we have 6,716 for SPX. All right, now let's check out the previous day low. So actually, Thursday, okay, there we are. Previous day low on SPX is 6,766. And the previous day high is where that 4-hour level was. Just pennies from my weekly level here. Alright, so now that we've changed that, we can check out the algo. Which should give us the same thing from SPY, because SPY is the ETF and SPX is the index. So it wasn't a buy. It did hit TP1 and TP2 before pulling back. So you should have got out at TP2. Alright, let's check out the 4-hour. 4-hour did give us a buy here on SPX at 6,791. You did feel some pressure here, but it did not hit the stop loss. And then it trended back up and hit TP1 and is headed toward TP2, y'all. Headed toward TP2 on the 4-hour. Alright, and last but not least is the NAS 100. Let's check out the weekly, y'all. Let's check out the weekly. Let me put my levels back on here. Alright, so we have a previous week high of 25,396 and a previous week low of 24,632. Let's check out the daily. We have a previous day high of 25,351 and a previous day low of 24,965. All right, let's check out the algo. Okay, so on the daily, we did get a sell here. It actually looks like it was a fake out. So you would have got faked out on this one. Let's check out the 4-hour. On 4-hour, you got a buy here on Thursday, 18th at 7 a.m. with the entry being 25,101. You did feel some pressure, but it did not hit the stop loss, and now it has hit TP1 and is headed toward TP2. All right, so something that I just found that I thought was pretty cool that I'm going to bring to the regular weekly show is Yahoo Finance. So Yahoo Finance, if you search a ticker here, let's start with NVIDIA since it's the most valuable company in the world. They have a button here that says Analyze with AI. So I thought that was cool. So this was updated 6 minutes ago. So I'll go ahead and read some of this for you. I already gave you all the levels for the previous week high, previous day high. We went over the algo. So let me read a little bit of this. NVIDIA continues to lead the AI chip market amid rising competition and valuation concerns, with analysts maintaining a consensus strong buy rating and price targets significantly above the current market price. Recent insider transactions indicate increased activity. AI market competition. NVIDIA faces increasing competition from companies like Broadcom, which has a substantial backlog and is gaining investor favor. Alongside collaborative threats from Alphabet and Meta developing rival AI chips. Profitability metrics. Gross margin remains strong at over 70%, while operating margins have slightly decreased, signaling a need for ongoing cost management. Market valuation concerns. The S&P 500's elevated Shiller-Cape ratio suggests potential risks for investors, particularly in tech stocks like Nvidia, as concerns about overvaluation grow. Growth metrics stabilization. Revenue growth has slowed to 65% from 71%, reflecting a normalization after extraordinary growth, with free cash flow growth also declining. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is still in beta form as far as Yahoo Finance analyzed with AI, but I thought that was pretty cool, and I can definitely add that into the show. I think it's too much for me to read during the week because the week is a lot more fast paced. So I think I will add this to the weekend show. Let's go to Apple. Apple analyzed with AI. All right. Overview updated 8 minutes ago. Apple is positioned for growth with a moderate buy rating from analysts, driven by anticipated iPhone sales and AI collaborations. Despite mixed earnings volatility, the stock's current market price of $273.67 suggests potential upside against varied analyst price targets ranging from $240 to $350. Now, market trends. The tech sector is recovering, and Apple is expecting to benefit from increased iPhone sales as consumers upgrade their devices. AI developments. Dan Ives predicts Apple will significantly advance in AI through partnerships, particularly with Google, enhancing its competitive edge. Analyst optimism. Valuation metrics. Apple's PE ratio has risen to 34.22 in Q4 from $30.28x in Q3 of 2025, reflecting increased investor expectations despite earnings volatility. Insider transactions. We're not worried about insider transactions. Profitability metrics. Gross margins improved slightly to 46% in Q4 of this year, while operating margins strengthened to 31%, indicating effective cost management. All right, let's go to Microsoft. Microsoft analyzed with AI. All right, this was updated 11 minutes ago. Microsoft is poised for growth with a 33% upside potential, driven by its focus on AI and cloud services. However, challenges in the data center and competition from its rivals like Google and Amazon prevent notable risks. Analyst sentiment. Analysts maintain a strong buy rating for Microsoft with a target price of $632, reflecting confidence in its AI strategies and cloud strategies. Valuation metrics. The EV/EBITDA ratio has slightly declined to 22.57x in forward year 2026 Q1, while the price to sales ratio remains stable at 13.10x, indicating consistent market valuation. Data center challenges. Local opposition to data centers could hinder Microsoft's expansion efforts, raising concerns about future growth in AI development. Profitability and growth. Gross margins are solid at 68%, with growth revenue at 15.59% and earnings growth at 16%, showcasing effective cost management and robust business expansion. All right, let's check out Google. Actually, should have did Google before Microsoft because they do have a bigger market cap. But analyze with AI. Updated 9 minutes ago, Google is strategically enhancing its position in the AI chip market while expanding its cryptocurrency investments. Despite facing regulatory challenges, the company shows promising financial metrics and positive analyst sentiment. We're going to skip the insider transactions. AI chip market dynamics. Apple's collaboration with Meta aims to enhance AI chip capabilities, positioning it as a competitive alternative to NVIDIA's offerings. Investment in cryptocurrency. Google's commitment of at least $5 billion in credit support to Bitcoin miners reflect a strategic pivot toward integrating AI with cryptocurrency. Challenges in a data center expansion. Local opposition to data center growth poses risks to Google's AI development plans, potentially impacting future operations. And I would like to say that I created my original investing flashcards using ChatGPT, but every time I try to put more content in there, I keep on getting coding errors. So what I did was I went to Google Gemini and I created an alternative version of the flashcards, and I'm making those right now. And those are even better than before. And I'm not getting the error messages at all. So when it comes to coding, Google Gemini is better than ChatGPT by far. I got so many errors using ChatGPT, and I'm not getting those errors at all with Google Gemini. So going forward, I will definitely be making improvements to the flashcards using Google Gemini instead of ChatGPT. All right, next is Amazon. Analyze with AI. This was updated 14 minutes ago. Amazon is navigating complex challenges with strong revenue growth of 11.48% in Q3 2025. While facing pressures in profitability and labor relations, analysts maintain a bullish outlook with a price target of $340, reflecting confidence in its e-commerce strength despite slowing AWS growth. Earnings performance. Amazon's revenue growth accelerated to 11.48% in Q3 2025, while EPS growth declined to 49%, indicating mixed profitability signals. Gross margin improved to 34%, showcasing better cost management. Labor relations challenges. Recent unionization efforts at Amazon's DJT6 facility highlight increasing labor tensions as workers demand better pay and conditions, impacting the company's operational landscape. We're going to skip the insider transaction activity and analyst ratings and price targets. Analysts are optimistic, with Wedbush setting a price target of $340, suggesting a 49% upside from the current market price of $227. This reflects strong confidence in Amazon's growth potential. All right. Next is Meta. Analyze with AI. This was updated 1 minute ago, the most recent update we've had so far. Meta Platforms is facing significant challenges regarding data center growth amid community opposition yet analysts maintain a bullish outlook with a strong buy rating and a projected 28% upside. The company's strategic collaboration with Google aims to enhance its position in the competitive AI chip market. Market sentiment. Analysts are optimistic about Meta's future, with price targets ranging from $730 to $935, indicating confidence despite concerns over rising operation expenses. Investment in AI technology. Meta's partnership with Google to develop alternatives to NVIDIA's GPUs could significantly enhance its competitive edge in the AI landscape. Data center growth challenges. Local communities are opposing data center expansion due to concerns over electricity rates and environmental impacts, which could hinder Meta's expansion plans. All right, next is AVGO. Analyze with AI. You see how good AI is, y'all? You better get with it. This overview is from 15 minutes ago. AVGO is currently navigating a challenging market with a 13% stock decline, yet analysts remain optimistic, maintaining a $475 price target amid strong Q4 results and significant backlog in AI orders. The semiconductor sector is experiencing a rally fueled by optimism around AI technology and cooling inflation. Strong Q4 results. In Q4, Broadcom reported $18 billion in revenue and a diluted EPS of $1.95, showcasing robust performance in the AI sector. Market performance. AVGO stock has recently declined by 13%, but analysts at UBS view this as an overreaction, maintaining a $475 price target. AI chip market growth. AVGO is positioned strongly in the AI chip market with a $73 billion backlog in orders and expectations of 100% year-over-year growth in AI revenue. All right, Tesla. Analyze with AI. Tesla is facing a challenging outlook and projected 14% decline in Q4 vehicle deliveries, yet analysts remain optimistic about long-term growth driven by innovations. Recent insider transactions reflect significant activity, particularly involving CEO Elon Musk's substantial stock award. Delivery forecast. Analysts predict Tesla's Q4 2025 deliveries will be 405,000, reflecting a 14% decline year over year, primarily due to weaker sales in key markets. Personally, I think that is because they are no longer doing the $7,500 discount, which was stopped earlier this year, which was very phenomenal, actually. They should bring it back. But back to the AI analysis. Long-term prospects. Despite current challenges, analysts maintain a bullish outlook on Tesla's future, particularly with advancements in robotaxi technology expected to drive growth. Profitability metrics. Tesla's gross margin decreased to 17% in forward year 2025 Q3, down from 17.48% in Q2, indicating pressure on profitability amid declining revenue growth. All right, and next we have TSM. Analyze with AI. This overview was updated 7 minutes ago. TSM is experiencing strong revenue growth driven by AI demand and high-end mobile chipsets, with analysts projecting significant future gains despite some valuation concerns. The company's solid profitability metrics and positive analyst sentiment further support its favorable outlook. Market trends. The semiconductor industry is seeing increased interest, particularly in AI-driven technologies, positioning TSM favorably for future growth. Analyst sentiment. Wall Street analysts are bullish, with price targets from Barclays and Needham at 355 and 360 respectively, significantly above the current price of 288.95. Valuation metrics. The company has a PE ratio of 27.18 and a price to sales ratio of 11.59x, indicating strong investor confidence despite premium valuations compared to its peers. Strong financial performance. TSM is projected to achieve 21.4% earnings growth this quarter and 43.9% for the fiscal year, reflecting robust operational performance. And last but not least, Berkshire B. All right. Berkshire B does not have a analyze with AI. Let me hit refresh. If not, I find that interesting that Berkshire B does not have analyze with AI, but the other companies do. Or maybe you only get a certain amount per day. I don't know. Let me check another ticker and see. QQQ. QQQ does not have it. But maybe QQQ doesn't have it because it's an ETF. Let's check out AMD. Oh, so yeah, it was just a Berkshire. It was just a Berkshire B thing that doesn't have analyze with AI. That's interesting. That's very interesting, yeah. I wonder why that would be. But all right, so let me give y'all a little preview of my flashcards, my new flashcards here. Oh dang, what happened? What the heck? I just moved it over here to show y'all. And now this thing tripping. Let me go ahead and hit refresh. See if it come back up. There we go. There we go. This is an exclusive look. These are not even out yet. But these are my new flashcards that I created with Google Gemini. So what I'm doing here, I have deck number 1, Absolute Beginner. It gives you the first 10 questions that an absolute beginner. Basically, I created these cards because when I be asking a lot of black people, are you invested in the stock market? And they say no. And then I ask them why not? And they say, because I don't know anything about it. Basically. So based on that, I'm like, how can I help? Basically. I'm like, all right, let me create these flashcards for the common questions that beginners have. So when you go to, this is the drop down menu. So you go to Absolute Beginner. Number 1 question, what is a stock? This is an example here. So the insight, meaning the answer is, a stock is a share of ownership in a company. When you buy a stock, you become a part owner of that business. And then it gives you an example. Buying 1 share of Apple means you own a tiny piece of the company that makes the iPhone. Let's go to the next one. What is the stock market? You hit reveal to give you the answer. The stock market is a marketplace where buyers and sellers trade shares of public companies, similar to a supermarket for companies. And then the example here is the New York Stock Exchange on Wall Street is the most famous example of a stock market. And then, so I have 10 absolute beginner questions. And then after that, you go to beginner plus. It starts out here. So I also have 10 questions in the beginner plus. And it says, what is a dividend? You hit reveal. The answer is a portion of the company's profits paid out to shareholders. You can take this cash, or you can use a DRIP, which is a dividend reinvestment plan, to automatically buy more shares. Reinvesting is the key to massive growth. And here's an example. The QQQI ETF pays a monthly dividend. If you use a DRIP, your account automatically uses the money to buy more shares of QQQI every month, which then pays you even more dividends the next month. So all you do is hit reveal. You have your question on the front, and then you hit reveal. Let's go to the next one. What is compound growth? Hit reveal. And the answer is also known as the snowball effect. It happens when you combine consistent investing, adding new money, with a DRIP, what we just talked about on the last card, reinvesting what you earn. So your earnings begin to earn with their own earnings, accelerating your wealth. So an example is, imagine adding $50 every month, which is fuel, while your DRIP automatically buys you more shares, and that's your engine. So over time, your investment grows exponentially because the snowball keeps getting bigger and faster. And then after that, Deck 3 and Deck 4 and Deck 5, they're currently locked. And they will be unlocked once people can get Deck 1 and Deck 2 down. All right, and then I have the first ABCs of investing deck. A is for asset. You hit reveal. It'll give you the definition. Anything of value that you own which has the potential to grow in value or provide income. An example of that is stocks, ETFs, and even your house are considered assets in your financial journey. B is for brokerage. Hit reveal. The insight is a company that acts as a middleman between buyers and sellers of investments. It provides the platform you use to trade. And a real scenario is using an app like Robinhood, E-Trade, or Vanguard means you're using a brokerage to manage your portfolio. All right, so these are the new flashcards that I'm currently creating. As soon as I finish this first deck of the ABCs of investing, I will be putting this out. But right now, we have our other flashcards, which are still good, but definitely have a different layout. As you can see here, stock market basics, Q&A. What is the stock market? You hit flip, it'll give you the answer. So this is the one that is currently out. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into the chat right now. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me go ahead and put this in the chat. See here, stock. All right. So as soon as the other one becomes available, I'm gonna put that out. But this one is still good. I'm going to, okay. So I'll put it in the chat right now, so you can check that out. You can click on that. If the show is no longer live, you can still, I'm going to put it into the comments. Currently it's in the chat, but you can put it in the, I'm going to put it in the comments just in case you click on it and I'm no longer live. These are investing flashcards, the Q&A. You see, there's 10 cards here. You go to the next one. What is a stock? Hit flip. What does investing mean? Hit flip. The second one, what is a brokerage account? Hit flip. How much money do you need to start investing? Hit flip. And also the ABCs of investing. Just hit flip. It'll give you the answer. So this is currently available, y'all. Currently available. So go ahead and check out the chat, or go ahead and check out. I will put it in the comments as well. All right, so that's it for our weekend charting show. We went over all the $1 trillion companies, as well as SPY, QQQ, SPX, and the NAS 100. And I also showed this new AI Analyze with AI feature on Yahoo Finance. And I gave a preview of the new flashcards that I'm currently creating with Google Gemini. That is so much better than ChatGPT, because ChatGPT, every time I try to make a change to the cards, it always gives me an error message on the code. But Google Gemini is much, much better. All right. So I'd like to thank y'all for joining me on today's show. Check out them levels. And we'll be back for tomorrow's show. We'll check out some more charts. But these are the $1 trillion tickers for this weekend. On tomorrow's show, we'll either check out some different tickers, or I will film my other series that I'm creating called Proof of Investing. And if you want to check out some of my music that I made with AI, you can go to at MattRiches510 AI Music on YouTube. Or if you have YouTube Music, you could check out at MattRiches510 AI Music. Have plenty of playlists on there. And I made this instrumental with Suno as well. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.